People of Earth. Cocktaila.
Hey now.
My name is Al. Across the table from me is my good friend, probably my best friend, Joe.
I wouldn't say that.
No, you're very good to me. You're very good to me.
Well, I love you.
I know. I love you too.
Not
I love you
that,
for loving me.
Not in a gay way.
Well, I mean, if it came to it,
If I had to,
if it came down
probably,
to it,
if it was a life or death situation.
why wouldn't you want to do your buddy? If you had to do anybody, why not what are you gonna do? A total stranger?
Yeah, well, at least I know.
You know I'll give you the
you don't
big
have
O,
AIDS
Joe.
or anything.
I'm not gonna just walk away when I come. I'm gonna make you come too.
Right.
I'm gonna treat you just like the lady you are.
You don't know how disturbing that sounds.
You started it. Oh no, I did. Sorry. So anyway, we were just talking about my son's job search. We applied for 6 jobs. He got 6 calls back. And he's got an interview next Thursday.
I am amazed, folks, that there are so many positions available for blue-collar work. And I don't know whether this is...
There's positions available for all kinds of work.
Well, we're in a very... There's not a lot of unemployment.
If you ain't working, it's your fault.
And I'm trying to finish a house for a lady. And just on the spot, the plasterer said, "Oh, I'm going on vacation next week."
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, "You got to be fucking kidding me." And what happens is, this is the plasterer. This is the guy that puts this. He doesn't hang the drywall. So the guys that hang the drywall were supposed to come in anyway. But they figured...
If he ain't going to plaster it.
Right. If he's not going to plaster, then, we can go on vacation too.
Where's Todd going?
Well, he already went. He's coming. He's back tomorrow.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. I didn't ask. And what I was going to do is do all the tile after the drywall is before Todd. You follow what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Because he puts that red rosin paper down.
Yeah.
So and he said that's fine. We'll just so that would mitigate some of it.
Yeah.
So none of that worked out. So I don't know. It's just what are you gonna do? Tell him not to go on vacation?
Well, I mean, no, you can't.
Unfortunately, the lady, she has a brother that I think she's.
Oh, I forgot.
Fucking phone. It's right there. Phones.
Hold on.
And my computer.
Right.
Just popped up.
Very good.
After the 9th hard boot.
Oh, what a nightmare.
And it shut itself down because of updates.
Joe is one of 8 people in the United States who has a fucking laptop with 8 on it.
8.1. I believe I might be one of like 3 people.
Yeah.
And it gets updated still.
The single worst operating system ever made.
And I'll repeat myself.
Oh, Jesus
Bill
Christ.
Gates sucks, and that Microsoft should be broken up.
And I love 10, and it's not that it's that great. It's just so much better than 8.
Right. It's just better than 8.
It's like a cool dip.
But
on
you
a
know
warm
something?
day.
Nothing's really better than Windows 95 was pretty good.
I liked XP Pro. I was a big XP Pro guy.
XP was the longest. That was the longest run without a new operating system.
It was just a good fucking operating system.
Every time
they're like, fuck, how
they
can
need
we fuck
like
this up?
a fucking $1 trillion. All they do is launch a new operating system. They make every computer manufacturer, every PC manufacturer has to bow down to Microsoft and put the new operating system on. Otherwise, they won't sell them the license. You can't go, no, I want to stick with, Dell can't say. Imagine that. Dell can't say, I'd like to stick with XP.
Sorry.
Nope. Can't do that.
We're not making. Yeah.
We're not allowing you to do that. That's why it should be broken up. Broken up. But that's I'm beating a dead horse there.
No, but that's part of the interesting part of the whole thing that you just said. If you choose If you got a fucking operating system that you like, it's like a radio or anything.
Well, you don't own it.
You don't
That's the
own
thing.
it. Yeah, you can't. You don't have choice. It's not a choice thing. Yeah, you have a choice.
You're licensed
Buy
to
an
use
Apple.
it.
That's it. That's your choice.
That's your only choice.
Yep.
And that's
getting more
that's
affordable.
Not software. That's making you buy a different machine.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a monopoly.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I'm almost fucking sure that Microsoft writes the operating system for Apple.
They might.
You know what I'm saying?
If they aren't now, they definitely did at one point.
You know I come across as a miserable fuck.
Not that miserable.
Which I am.
I mean, you can
Not
be.
generally a happy person, but
I mean,
I try not to be a miserable fuck.
when something is not regular with your medication, you definitely get a little edgy.
Well, it's just the story of me.
Yeah.
It's the story of
You
me,
can just tell.
and you gotta accept it.
And I try.
And I don't want Bill Gates or his kids dead or anything like that.
No, it's just
But
funny
I
to
would
talk
like
about.
Bill punched in the nuts a few times
He gets nutted.
because this is just 20 years ago, it was found to be a monopoly, and if old Teddy Roosevelt was alive, this would be a non-issue because it would have been broken up 20 years ago.
Right.
So that's the deal.
Is that what he did? What did he break up the steel companies and the railroads or something? What did Teddy break up?
I believe Teddy broke up Standard Oil for one,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and probably a bunch that I have no idea. Carnegie had the monopoly on steel, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Probably broke that up.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt had the monopoly on railroads. But I don't know this for sure, but it's an easy Google search, you can say.
yeah.
But I know that he broke up. And by the way, breaking these companies up don't make these guys poor. I mean, Rockefeller became much richer
Right,
because
absolutely.
Standard Oil was broken up.
Yeah.
And they turned it into fucking 10 companies or something like that. And the guy just shot up to be the first. He was the first
Billionaire.
in the United States.
Yep.
So
Back when a billion was a billion, man.
yeah, $1 billion back in, I don't know, 1901 was a lot of fucking money.
It's probably
It's a lot of money now. Even there's people out there saying, well, $1 million isn't that much money. But, $1 million is a lot of money.
I'll tell you right now. Look at me. Somebody gives me $1 million, I'm done. $1 million cash, I'm done. You can live on $100,000 a year, and the other 900 can make interest, and you never have to work again if you have $1 million in the bank. If you don't want to work, you can do it. You can't live lavishly, but you can live on $100,000 a fucking year. All right, and have a little fun. The math bears out. You know?
Yeah, well, you'd have to make 10% a year
You would
on the money.
you would hope that you'd make 10%, but
And I don't
past
think that's-
performance is not fucking
That's very
necessarily
hard.
indicative of future results.
That's very hard to guarantee. You can't find that anywhere. You can't find a bond
yeah.
that's going to pay you more than like 3, and you're not going to put it in a bank and get or a CD. It's still a joke. So I don't know. I might have to disagree with your
Yeah.
analysis on that, Al.
I meant my life, not some kid.
Well,
I'll make it happen.
you know what I was talking about, and not to be morbid,
Yeah.
and I don't know how I got on this subject, but I was at the liquor store, which we call the fucking Packy here in Massachusetts, the package store. And, I know why, because I had a suit on. And she asked me if I was coming from a funeral.
Oh.
And then she said to herself, I should try to stop
Was
myself.
this over at the terrace?
Yeah.
Was it the short lady who's been there forever?
Yeah, the nice older
I think
woman.
her name's Brenda.
Yeah, she's very nice.
She's awesome.
She's been
She
there-
used to work at Bradford's, and she's been at the terrace forever.
Yeah. And
Package store lady.
we got on the subject of, would you want to know, because it was slow, there was nobody in there. And we got on the subject of, would you want to know the day that you're going to die? Now, most people say absolutely not. But I would absolutely love to know the day that I'm going to die. I don't want to know how. You know, if I'm going to get hit by a fucking bus or something, or, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know how, but the day that I'm going, or say the week. You know what I mean? Leave a little mystery in it.
I think if I
because
knew,
then you could sort of plan.
I think if I knew the day that I would die before the day I was gonna die.
I guess Mac makes their own operating system, by the way. So that's enough of that. We don't want to be morbid.
It's not that morbid.
We're looking for listeners. Well, it is. It's an interesting subject. Death is something that people...
Death is always...
Nobody wants to talk about it because, well, it's going to happen to all of us.
Yeah.
And if you're a younger person, let me tell you something. At 55... I don't know what the fuck happened, but somehow 30 years went by, and...
Yeah, take some time to smell the roses, kids.
You got to think to yourself like this. How many days do I vividly remember in the last 10 or 20 or 30 years?
I mean...
You know, like if you were... The only days you're going to remember, I mean, you vividly remember... is something maybe when a loved one died tragically, if you were, you know, held up at gunpoint. I mean, something very, I don't know, I don't even know if a good thing would do it. Well, maybe your wedding, but literally an actual, like, I remember September 17th, 1996 that was the day that this happened, and, you know, I went parachuting and shit my pants on the way down. And the shit went through my legs and landed in the instructor's face. You know?
Right.
But I can't really pick out a date.
Well,
and I don't know whether that's good or bad.
It's because you're not Mary Lou Henner. Nobody can, Joe.
No. I'm
superhuman...
talking about there are dates that you remember.
Not me. I can't tell you the date that I left.
I remember when
Most guys would know the minute, and I don't know what day it was.
I remember where I was in Montreal when I went to get my now ex-wife. I remember that. I don't remember what, you know, of course I don't remember what day it is. But that was eventful enough so I can still picture it. Oh, and I met her mother for the first time as I was moving her daughter to Wisconsin. It was an interesting thing. And remember that? I remember when my kid was born. Because my kid was...
Kid born in Jordan?
No, my kid was born in Montreal.
Okay.
She came out a little premature, and we didn't have any health care anyway back then, or very little. So Canada has free medical. Well, my daughter's mother almost passed away because she started having a hemorrhage, and she had a very good nurse friend who was over the house just by chance. They were having a chat, and her name was Joanne, and she was a lovely woman, and I don't know what happened to her, but if it wasn't for her, because she got her to the hospital, and she knew exactly what was going on.
Really?
And,
well, thank God for her.
You know, it was funny. There was some baby snatching going on in the Montreal area. So in the maternity ward, they were extremely strict. You know, you had to have like 2 fucking forms of ID and, you know, to go in and see your kid. And the woman looks up at me and goes, go right in. You're the Brennan kid. And I mean, it was like mini-me.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, it was funny.
I think of the pic, especially, until she got to be probably in puberty. She looked a lot like you.
Yeah, she had a lot of my traits.
You too, Joe.
Now she has a lot of my personality traits, which is probably
she?
not a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, she's stubborn as hell. It was funny. I was talking to my lawyer who is representing her on her landlord is trying to sue her and her roommate for shit that they did not do. Like there's a handrail that goes up the stairs. The fucking handrail he said they took it off or ripped it off.
It was never there.
The handrail was never on.
Yeah.
When they moved in, the handrail was off.
Yeah.
And they tried to get the asshole to. So this guy's like a notorious
He's a
slumlord
shitbird.
scumbag. And
What's his name?
I don't remember.
Because,
But he was laughing. He says, "Your daughter is she is tough. She is stubborn." And I'm like, "Yeah. Where do you think she gets it?"
Right.
So, but I think she's a lot happier than I am.
Is she a letter writer too?
I don't think so. I don't think she gets all worked up that much about, stuff.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't follow any kind of like politics or anything.
Yeah, right. So what are you going to
You know?
get all mental about?
Yeah. I mean, she does. It was funny when she started making money. She was kind of caught off guard by how much tax money got taken out of her pay.
Right.
And she was like, where is this all going? Is this going to my cousins who all had,
Yes.
4 babies out of wedlock and,
Yes.
are now on every government program?
Yes.
So, which
Just spreading it
they're
around.
wonderful people. They really are.
Yeah.
And everything's worked out,
Right.
I think, except for my nephew Dan, who's missing. But
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
isn't that something? So, be honest with me. Do you think he's dead?
No, I thought he was in Australia, and now I think we went to Bali, and he's probably not even there now.
He really wanted to get out, didn't he?
Yeah. He did the I'm here and my mom's here thing.
Right.
This is what he did.
And he said, I need to get...
He's exactly as far away from her as he can get.
3,000 miles wasn't enough.
Yeah.
He had to, move on.
Yep.
God, I hope so. And I feel guilty every single day about it. And because I keep thinking that I should be doing something. Like
There's nothing you can do.
I should go to San Diego and spend 2 weeks out there every 4 months.
The fucking trail is cold, my man.
But
He's never going back to San Diego.
I don't. I do feel guilty
He's
about it.
more apt to be in New Hampshire or Plymouth before San Diego or Florida. He's never going back to San Diego, ever.
God, I hope he. I feel guilty because my sister's crazy, and I never really realized how crazy. And if I had done it, I would have offered the kid to live here.
Yeah, well, I thought you kind of did anyway.
No,
Or
I
it was
never.
too late.
I never made the official offer.
Yeah.
I was raising Anna, and I didn't want to screw around with that, but I didn't think he had it that bad. You know what I mean? Because I was fooled, and then it all came out when you went out there. Al's a former private detective, and when my nephew went missing, I sent Al out instead of me going because I don't know what I'm doing. He had the inside thing, so he went out. And my sister tortured him, and for no good reason. And it's just
And I'm not man enough to tell her to fuck off. You know what I mean?
no. That has nothing to do with it. You're being kind. If
Yeah.
you didn't know her, you'd probably punch her in the face.
Yeah.
You were just being, there's part of her that, I don't think she's evil, but maybe she is. But
I don't know.
there's a part of her that really
She's not very nice, I'll tell you that.
is really upset about her kid being gone.
Yeah, that sucks.
You know, I can't imagine anybody that's happy about
No.
I
You don't
mean,
wish that on anybody.
having.
That's a nightmare.
You know, you just don't know. And
That's a fucking
I
nightmare.
think about it every day.
If my son went missing, I might not be able to hold it together. You know what I mean?
I get a feeling that you'd never stop looking until you found him.
I would probably look.
That would be
I would figure out a way
become
to
your life.
Yeah, I would figure out a way to fund my personal journey to find him. You know what I mean?
And I don't know. God, what an awful subject.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks, if this is bumming you out.
Yeah.
But
It is what
it's
it
a
is.
true. You know, you always think to yourself, that'll never happen to me. You know when you see like one of those commercials for the guy that smoked and he's got no more face,
Right.
you know, and you're like, that'll never happen to
You're like-
me. Well, you never think that like somebody in your family is going to just disappear.
He goes, look at me.
And my
Nobody-
nephew 2 years ago
Yeah.
literally disappeared. He was in San Diego.
He had an
then he wasn't.
appointment. He had an appointment to be brought to an appointment. Somebody was picking him up. They had talked to him not that long before. Like I should remember. I could check my notes, but it was like an hour and about 90 minutes before he was getting picked up. He talked to the person picking him up, and he wasn't at the pickup point, and he was never heard from again.
You know, I wonder though. So you got to have a little bit of cash. You got to have a passport to go to Bali.
He had a passport.
And through a long story, long story short, I found out that he was going to. When I hired that private detective to go up and re-question that girl that saw him.
Yep.
She was 39 at the time.
Yeah.
And he went up to see her. She just happened to have a friend over that knew Dan. And Daniel Foster is his name, by the way. You can look him up on Facebook. He's just a beautiful, handsome man. And there's a help find Daniel Foster. So if you're living in Southern California, and take a peek, see if you recognize him. But shit, it's just weird. You know, he's just gone. But she's the one that said that, oh, yeah, he took a plane to Bali. And she was pretty certain of it.
Yeah.
You know, the guy said, usually she wasn't like, oh, I think that, Rebecca was told by Tom, that he was thinking about going to Bali. You know,
Right.
it wasn't one of those deals.
Yeah.
It was like she said it with a according to the private detective that I hired out there to wrap up the shit that you weren't able to do.
Right.
She was pretty certain.
Wow.
So I don't know, man.
I believe he's alive
Bali is
and well.
Malaysia, right?
It's either that or Indonesia. I don't know. It's fucking paradise. That's what it is. It's paradise.
Yeah, I wonder if it's paradise though for, if you're going to go there and work. You think you can go there and live and
Yeah.
work?
I think that it's still paradise because even if you don't have indoor plumbing, which everyone there on that island does, but even if you're homeless, and I don't think he is. I think he's being productive somewhere.
He's
he
very
likes
good at
to work.
He was very good at getting people to take him in.
Yeah.
Like there was a
And,
guy in
and he
San
knows how to
Diego.
grow things. You know what I mean?
Yes, he
He's
does.
good at that. That's his thing.
And not just
He could
pot.
he could be a farmer anywhere.
Right. Because he worked as a farmer in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And I think that he's... This kind of society, it's hard to pinpoint because you don't want to be one of those people that beat up on your own country. But there is some problems with the United States, and one of them is we've got so many choices as people in the United States, and you say, well, that's not bad. And it's not, unless you're a guy like me, where too many choices scrambles my brain. You know what I mean? And I believe he was in that same category.
Mm.
Like I think he really wanted to live a simple life.
You would, however, like more choices for an operating system.
I would like more choices for a fucking operating system. You bet your ass.
Talk about coming full circle, Jesus.
But yeah, that was a good segue, Al.
Well, you're the one who made it.
Well, no, you're the one that pointed it out.
Right.
That's why Al's a lot smarter than me.
It's kind of almost it kind of goes along with that devil's advocate theme we had going. My brother David commented on he texts me once in a while, and he texted me that the last show he listened to it in one shot again. He likes them hour and 40-minute shows, you know. But he said what stuck out was the devil's advocate segment, and I'm like, I didn't even remember it till you mentioned it. He said he thought that was funny as fuck.
About the guy.
But I guess I played devil's advocate for longer than you wanted me to play devil's advocate. I kept playing devil's advocate.
Yes.
Till it got to the point where you were like, I don't even know if you're playing devil's advocate anymore, you know?
Well, you're good at the straight face
lies.
Yeah, well, we both are.
I could be an actor. I still convinced I could be the next fat guy actor in Hollywood. I know I could do it.
Bali is a multi-religious, consisting of Christian, Muslim, and Buddhist minorities. The predominant religion is Hinduism.
Wow.
I think they're very spiritual.
Sounds it. Well, it's
and
paradise. It's fucking easy to be spiritual in paradise.
Well, look, people go down to Cabo San Lucas, and they stay in a resort, and they don't leave. And I got a friend who's got a resort in Cabo San Lucas, and we get outside of the resort, and you go past these, you know, there's the resort right on the ocean that's, you know, it's $1,000 a night to stay there in a fucking regular hotel room.
Right.
And it's absolutely beautiful. But you see the locals, they live in there's like a shanty town.
Sure.
And I don't think the roads were paved. If I can picture it in my head. I remember every house had some sort of like a water jug, one of those black water jugs.
Yo, man.
Up on the roof. And they were all packed together. And, you know, it was a shithole. So I'm wondering if, you know, there's some beautiful places to vacation in Bali, but I don't know what Bali, you know, what the country looks like.
On my first honeymoon, I went to St. Martin, and it was wood roads and shanty towns outside of the resorts on the water.
Well, and a lot of it is like that.
To get from resort to resort or beach to beach, you're driving on dirt roads through shanty towns. Now, that was 28 or whatever the fuck, something years ago. You know what I mean?
Well, you hope it's better. But somebody I forget who, went to the Dominican Republic, and they literally have armed guards on the beach, you know, with like automatic weapons.
Yeah, sure.
And they tell you, don't go off the resort. You know,
right.
So you're at like the Sandals fucking resort. But
so why would you go off the resort then? Fuck it.
There's a good chance of being shot or robbed or beaten.
Robbed or raped or whatever.
Yeah. So,
blown.
I don't know. If anybody out there has any input on finding a lost relative, I'm always ready for
tips,
suggestions.
Yeah. What it takes, Joe, in this situation is boots on the ground and infinite financial resources.
Yeah, I suppose.
You know what I mean?
And even then, you don't.
Somebody needs to go to Bali if you want to find them. You know what I mean? And
True.
The trail is probably cold, but that's what missing persons is. That's fucking boots on the ground, grinding.
I could pay somebody to go to Bali, but I don't know. I don't know if you'd. Well, first of all, that information is 2 years old.
Yeah.
He could be in Australia.
Well, it's not 2 years old. It's a year.
The only thing I was thinking is, you know, with the 9/11 shit, there must be, like, if he left the country, there must be a registry, a passport registry, right? Because you have to, before they let you on the airplane, you have to go to the whatever the immigration thing is for leaving the country for Bali, right? You don't have to go to U.S. immigration, but they're not going to put you on the plane and then tell you can't come in because you're a crook or something. So there must be like
They
a
just check that you
timestamp.
have your passport with you when you leave the country. That's it. That's all they do. They
And then
just
when you come-
make sure you have your passport with you. And if you don't have your passport, they won't let you get on the plane.
Yeah, but they run it through a scanner.
If they do that now, that's fine. They didn't always do that, obviously.
And like I said, when you leave, I can't remember.
Now you're right. I'm thinking there is a little scanner when you go there. Yeah, you're right.
But when you leave the country, the U.S. Customs, they don't have anything to do with you.
No. Customs is just incoming.
So I have to
Find out where that information
Right.
goes. And all you got to do is talk to someone who works for an airport. You could just call an
So
airline.
if he ever came back into the country, I would think that would be information that is somewhere. And
Again, that's
and if he left the country, it would all depend on the country that he went to, whether they have the scanning technology or not. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, that's on a higher level of finding people than I ever had to deal with. I believe you're right. I think it just takes a couple phone calls to find that out, by the way. It's all it takes is research.
I bet it takes.
A couple days, a week.
I'd have to
get that
probably
answer.
get a congressman involved because that's information that's first they're not going to admit that they collect it, and second, they're not going to give it up easily. It's kind of like I could probably find out if he called into the United States from a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? The NSA probably has that information.
Right.
Now they might, if I don't know whether it's the cell phone's registered in his name, if they can pick that up, if
Right.
it's in a foreign country. I don't know what the protocol is, or if he's using a burner phone, one of those phones you pick up at the fucking convenience store, and with 30 minutes on it, and you can go and pay cash and get more minutes, and nobody really knows who the fuck you are.
Right.
It doesn't come up as you. But the NSA is not going to. Well, they don't until the hero Ed Snowden came along. We didn't even know that they were collecting that data, which it doesn't bother me at all. I could care less. If you read the Constitution, we don't have a right to privacy. We have no right to privacy.
It's not listed.
We have a right to illegal search and seizure, so that covers your house and your car, and your person. But it doesn't, it doesn't really cover phone calls and your mail and shit like that. So, interesting thing. So how big is Bali?
Bali's not that big, but it's fucking paradise, apparently.
Well, it is that considered. Is that considered Polynesia?
I don't think so. If there's a lot of Hindus there, you're getting close. You fucking somewhere. That's it's Asian.
Yeah, you're more into Asia.
Yeah, if you're saying it's a majority Hindu, just fucking it'll tell you what Bali's part of.
Majority Hindu.
But I'm saying where it is. It's not independent, or is it? No.
Population is 4.225 million.
All right, so it's
So there's a relatively large population.
yeah, it's like New Zealand or some shit.
And on Google Maps,
I mean, I know.
I don't know where it's south of Indonesia.
Okay, but it might be. I think it is part of Indonesia.
Probably, and it's south of I don't know what the name of the country is, if there is one.
Yeah.
But the Brunei, where the Sultan lives,
Oh wow! I thought that was.
is above Bali. So I don't know who this. I've heard that the name Sultan of Brunei.
Yeah. He was
I don't
always
know
in the
whether-
Guinness Book of World Records as the world's richest man.
Right. I don't know whether that makes is the country, because it's Brunei looks like it's a city on the map, and so I don't think it's a country. But then again, I don't know.
I think they had.
I'm not afraid to say I have no fucking idea.
But I believe it was oil rich.
So, well, maybe when I sell 3 of these houses here, I'll fucking go on a trip.
Go on a trip.
Take Patty to Bali. Go searching. Oh, I can't leave my dogs.
Well, people can watch the dogs, Joe. I'll pitch in on that one.
I got my Charlie up there. He's getting old.
I tell you what, he was pretty fluffy looking, and I was looking at it, and I'm going, is that you? And he went, "Arr, arr," and he started running around in a circle. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's you.
Let me tell you something. Charlie, we got Charlie. Charlie's an American, about a 15, 16-pound American Eskimo dog. My wife got him from me for my birthday. He's a white puff job. As a dog for a guy, it's probably
The second or
probably
third
think that I
gayest
was
dog ever.
fag if you saw me with this dog. But I don't care. He's wonderful. And when she adopted him, you know how they have those, he's not good with other dogs. He's not good with kids. They've got a circle with the red line through it.
Right.
No kids, no other animals, no people, doesn't like strangers. Every fucking red circle was there. And he's just wonderful. He doesn't like anybody leaving. That's his
He doesn't
thing.
want you to leave.
He gets crazy.
He
when
doesn't
people
mind when
leave.
you come. If you try to leave,
You can stay
it drives
forever.
him fucking mental.
So Charlie was getting old, and so we did 2 things that this doesn't make us geniuses. I was reading online. One of the things that Charlie had, and if you're a dog lover, you'll be interested in this if you want to try to prolong the life of your dog, or maybe you know all about it and you're thinking, what a fucking moron, why doesn't he know? But at any rate, when your dog gets older, there is a lot of most dogs will get these benign fatty tumors, and it's just kind of normal. Now, Charlie got a bunch of them, and it wasn't. I don't think they were really bothering him, but they were starting to get like in where his armpit would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And where I just went and looked, and it's not like it's a liquid. It's not like you can bring him to the dog.
Right,
they don't recommend removing them because
Right.
they're not harmful. So I did a Google search on how to get rid of fatty tumors on a dog, without surgery or something like that. And I was directed to a webpage where a woman wrote a very, you got to be careful what you read online, but this was a very well-written, with all the words spelt right, review of dog food called Dr. Harvey's.
Okay.
And Dr. Harvey's is not a complete dog food. What you do is you cook some chicken, or you cook, you don't want to give your dog red meat because it's too rich, but you can do pork, chicken, something like that. And you mix it up, and my wife leaves it chunky. She used to blend it so it was almost like baby food, but he likes it better if it's chunky.
Right.
We also took Charlie to the vet, and he had a little heart murmur that was based on his thyroid because he was getting sluggish. So
Okay.
we were getting concerned. He was overweight.
Sure.
Remember I used to give Charlie a lot of peanuts?
Cheese and shit.
Yeah. So we made Charlie lose 5 pounds, and
So he got up over 20?
he was over 20. I think he was 21 pounds.
Wow.
Now he's 15 or 16. He's lighter than Lola, believe it or not, who's my daughter's.
Oh, my God, really?
Yes.
Well, he's just so fluffy, he looks way bigger.
Right. But when-
Lola's a short-haired... Isn't she a straight-up Chihuahua?
She's a Chihuahua something mix, and that's my daughter's dog, who This is the second dog my daughter has ended up with that we've ended up with. So the thing is, so we put Charlie on this heart medication that the vet said to do with a diuretic, and then there's some other medication. He gets 3 meds a day, twice a day, and it's not a big deal to give it to him. You just grind it up, put it in a little water, stick it in a little syringe thing, and
away you go.
Pump it down his gullet. And what I'm getting at here is he was like a fucking brand new dog, and his fur is softer than it's ever been.
That's wacky.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he is so. His fur always had some coarseness.
Absolutely.
I can't say the word coarseness to it, and that's gone. It's like fucking fur.
Yeah.
And he's got all kinds of energy. And I'm thinking that he just had his like a year checkup. He's doing great.
Good.
He's 12 years old. So, hey, see if we can get him to 20.
Man, he was a lot of fun. He's still a lot of fun, but he was a ball when he was new. He was awesome.
God.
Right out of his fucking tits.
I mean, the dog is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, my wife will come over in the morning. He doesn't like people leaving. He also, like, if he is with somebody, it doesn't matter. My wife is Charlie's best friend, and I'm probably second best because my wife is Dr. Doolittle. But he'll be with me in the morning because my wife goes to work earlier than I do pretty much every day, which pisses her off to no end. But, she's going to have to just deal with it. And Charlie, if he's with me, will try to bite her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he's with her and I go over to give her a kiss goodnight or something, he will attack me.
Right. Yeah.
So he's out of his mind.
Yeah.
But we love him because he's out of his mind.
Yeah.
He's got this look like
He's
this.
even got a little Marty Feldman bug-eyed thing going on. If he's looking at, especially if he's got like
he
food,
looks like he's fucking
he'll
crazy.
run up the side of the fucking, the cabinet if you got food. What was this other thing that fucking kills me? It's not normal. Well, of course, he didn't just run in circles. He would do a lap around the pool as fast as he could when someone was going to leave.
Right.
Fucking bizarre. And
well,
then
the thing about it
make
is...
sure that you get the fuck out because he would go for your foot. That's when he was younger.
Right. Because my dog
he got
Charlie
me last year too, by the way.
Is an absolute wimp. He's the guy that's going to get in the fight in the parking lot with 4 of his friends holding him back.
Right.
Let me at him, and if you let him go, he'll just go. He won't know what to do.
Right.
Because he wants nothing to. So if you leave, if he can get at you while you're not, while you have no way to get at him,
right, he'll
bite you. But if you turn around, he's off.
Right.
He's afraid. So Charlie is a big, big pussy.
Yeah, it's all right.
But
who among us?
But he's funny. He's just a funny little dog. Out of all the dogs we've had, I enjoyed Charlie more.
And that's the other thing he used to do. And I know other dogs do this, but not many.
No,
he used to hump the pillow.
Oh, yeah.
He had a hump pillow.
Still does.
Oh, is it a specific pillow or any old pillow?
Well, he's got a pillow.
He's kind of a whore. Or is he whoring around? Or has he got a steady pillow?
I've got that couch that I stole from my daughter.
Yeah.
Which my wife hates. And I'm like, well, buy another one if you want it. But, why get rid of it? I mean, it's a cheap couch. I put a 2x8.
It's just big
underneath.
Though. Yeah.
But it's a big U-shaped couch that
Yeah.
I stuffed in the family room. It just fits.
Awesome.
So he's got a little, love seat. That's his area. So there's a pillow there that he'll get up on. And sometimes, I think it smells like me, so
Yeah.
I don't know whether he wants to hump me. Maybe it smells like Patty. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he'll stare at you with his mouth
That's what I'm
open.
talking about. He
With
looks
the
right
fucking
at you.
crazy glare.
And he's got a smile.
As he
He's smiling.
slowly moves his hips. He moves his hips real slow.
Yeah.
While he humps away at the pillow, just staring at you with a fucking crazy gaze. It's just it's
wonderful.
one of the funniest things that it wouldn't be funny if it was your neighbor,
Right.
but it is funny if it's a 16-pound dog named Charlie who's crazy. So that's the deal.
Yeah. Irreplaceable old Charlie.
Yes, unfortunately.
I mean,
But they're all unique. I mean, Lola has
yeah, they're all unique.
this Chihuahua dog that we have, Lola.
Long hair.
All
Chihuahua.
our dogs end up eating too much. And now Lola doesn't eat anything when you give it to her. However, she must eat. We have cats, so she gets into the room where the cats stay. Patty thinks she's got a clever door so the cats can get in, but not the dogs. And the dogs just walk right in. So Lola she's fat, but it's on her back.
That's funny.
You know what I mean?
How old do you think Lola is? 5, 6, something like that?
Lola's 4.
Oh, okay.
So she's got like I call her brisket back because she's got no fat underneath.
Right.
It's all on her back and you can feel it.
Yeah, it's
you know what I
funny.
mean? It's like this. And my daughter comes down and she's horrified because her dog's fat.
Well, you know.
And she did lose 2 pounds though, by the way. With the last, because we don't want her to get sick. She's awful cute.
2 pounds is a lot of pounds if you only already weigh 15
Yeah, it's
or
a good
16.
it's a good percentage of your overall
girth.
body weight.
Your fucking girth. Although it's not as much as, by the way, I put back on 4 pounds. I'm not happy about it. And I'm going to the doctor tomorrow to get this. By the way, this right here, see that?
Yeah.
Is it this one?
That one?
Yeah.
Is that the cancer?
That's skin cancer. That's a melanoma right there, everybody. If you get one of them, get it taken off.
Now,
And there's another one over here, but it's not as dark. But that's getting scooped out.
is it something? My understanding is, tell me if I'm wrong, that it's something that you'll scratch at and it'll never heal. Is that kind of the deal?
Oh, I don't know anything about that. I didn't notice that it.
How do they know that it's? Is it biopsy?
Yeah, he took a biopsy.
I think you told me.
Yeah, no. Tomorrow.
All right, so they do.
I was rescheduled. I had to chase this guy down. I wasn't going there till like the end of September to get another biopsy because the one I was supposed to have last week got pulled off because he had knee surgery. But I called them when I rescheduled, and I'm like, listen, I had a biopsy fucking a month ago. What's up?
Yes, you said this last show.
And it turns out they're like, oh shit. What they said was
come in tomorrow.
Well, no. They said make sure you don't miss the appointment September 28th.
Right. You said
which
wanna
was the
come in
day
this
before
week.
my impending wedding party.
Right.
That had nothing to do with it. I didn't even realize it till just now. But I called and said, "Can I fucking get this taken off this Friday, please?" And I only said I would have been early as possible, but he only does the skin thing on Fridays. It's not a skin doctor. It's my fucking, my primary. But he's fucking
They
qualified.
can do that.
Yeah, he did. He did the one up here. I had a crater here. See, my fear now is that I have one here and I have one here, and those are both near lymph nodes. I had this one on my shoulder because I'm an idiot and never wore sunscreen.
Oh, well, you're not an idiot.
And now I'm fearing that I never got much sun here because I wasn't a shirt off guy. I always wore T-shirts. And my fear is maybe that has spread and it's shown up in 2.
I have no melanin
places.
in my skin whatsoever. Yeah. I am white as a fucking Casper the Ghost if I don't have any sun.
But you know me.
When I used to work
you're tan
outside,
too, though.
When I used to work outside, I would get burnt in the summer. Never had a shirt on when I was never.
I know.
I went shirtless all the time.
Hairless, shirtless.
I used to go shirtless into like a fucking store in the mall. I literally got thrown out.
Fucking hot.
And I think about it today and go, what was I thinking? But that I was like fucking nature boy.
Right.
And my skin from being a little kid, and people just didn't know. That's what you did.
Yeah.
We lived near a pond. You start swimming in the pond. This is, I'm talking when I'm 9 or 10 years old. You start swimming in the pond, and it's summer, and you just get fucking burnt. And you get these Big blisters.
I don't ever remember getting
popping.
burned as a kid. I just remember being tan when I
got
went back to
burnt
school.
so many times.
But when I went out into the every summer, I wanted to be by May 1st or May 7th or 8th burnt, so I would be tan for the summer. So I always went and got burnt on purpose. I would, you know what I mean? Wear a tank top or with my shirt off for the first part before I got real fat. I wanted to get burnt because I knew that all I had to do was put the aloe on and heal.
Right.
And I was never a peeler. I wasn't a peeler.
Oh no, I got the big blisters with the pus in it. Then it would all peel off.
If I got one good burn and then covered up, you know what I mean, till it healed, then I would go back and then I would just be fucking brown, bad and brown, Yeah. Look at me now. I'm even kind of brown from Florida. I'm still brown.
Well, your dad
Up
is Italian, Northern Italian.
Yeah, but my dad is Lithuanian. My father does not tan. He turns to mush.
Oh, I know. He's Casper the Ghost.
He turns to mush.
But he is. There's some Italian blood in him.
My mom
that he didn't get.
My mom is a Yankee and a half Polak, and my mom always.
She's not tanning.
No, she always got a dark brown tan.
No shit.
Dark brown. Remember when her and your mother used to go to the fucking pond together?
Nope.
Remember how tan your mom gets tan, but your mom's been doing it forever. My mom doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah, my mother was a swimmer.
In their 20s and 30s, my mom was brown, man, like brown.
I don't remember.
Paul never got brown.
I don't think I was around.
No, I know you were gone.
We talked about.
I know, that's fine. That was just that time of what was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the old.
You and I didn't chew much earth together until we were aware of each other. We worked on that guy.
I'm 4 years older than Al.
We worked on Paul Bronya's house together. I don't know if you remember that up on Bruce Road.
It means nothing now, but when I'm 18 and Al's 14,
13,
it's everything.
You're 5 years older than me.
Am I 5?
Most of the year, you're 5 years older than me. For 3 years, 3 months of the year, you're
okay.
4 years older.
That's how I.
You just turned 55, right?
Yes.
You'll be 5 years older than me till May.
Right. So I mean,
you're 5 years older than me.
It's huge. It's a huge deal at that age. I mean, I was in college while Al was still before he was in high school.
Right, and it's not that you were a dick or anything. You didn't deal with the Capozis that much.
I loved your father.
Oh no, I know you were around for I distinctly remember the coolest move ever. The coolest move ever. A lot of the times the parties were at my parents', but they would go back and forth during the summer. My parents and Joe's parents used to party together on Saturday nights. That's what they did. That was their thing. We all looked forward to it. They had shift face, and the kids were involved, and we went back and forth. They lived near a pond. It was great. We didn't have a pond, but we had woods, and, it went back and forth. But one time, the party was at the Brennan's house, and it was late. It was like 1:30, and they loved their music and their record player, didn't they? And there would be like 3 or 4 couples, and they would be dancing while all of us kids were off playing Spin the Bottle and, fucking Truth or Dare or whatever. Joe never was involved because he was a teenager by then. We were in our early teens. Joe came down and fucking shut the stereo off. He didn't just turn it down. You came downstairs and turned it off. Do you remember that?
Not really.
And you went,
but I believe
some of us have to work tomorrow because you were building a sun deck or something.
Yeah.
And it might have even been for your dad. I don't remember because you did bang some nails for him on the weekend.
It could have been.
Were you banging nails for anyone else in high school before college? I forget.
No.
So you would have been going into your
school,
senior year. You would have been going into your senior year.
See, now I don't remember. Here's the thing. I don't think I built.
It was the coolest move ever. I tried to recreate it a year later for funniness, and
I don't think that because I don't remember. My dad did this for not a very long time.
Get decked out. That was what the ad said.
Yeah.
Get decked out.
So
with Dead George.
Yeah.
That didn't last long, that partnership.
Well, he had several. Do you remember Bob Redente? He's dead.
Vaguely. Like by that time
there was a whole he had a whole cast of Todd Willis's dad.
Yeah, Dick.
He was a great worker, unbelievable.
He was a good guy, and Dave Willis. Dave, I'm sorry, I thought it was Dick. Paul, my brother Paul built a lot of shit with him.
Right.
Paul actually built quite a lot of shit with your dad. I built like 5 or 6 decks. Paul might have done 20 or 30 with your dad.
So I can't remember whether I did my own shit while I was summers in college.
Yeah.
Or if I was working with Pops. And I would probably think that I was working with Pops.
I think you were working because he was doing weekends and the work was on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. I don't think you worked during the week for him. You were going to, well, it was summer vacation. But
I advertised out in Amherst and built several. Chris Jarvis and I built several decks together.
Cool.
And I did like disappearing staircases and shit because you could put those in pretty quick.
Sure.
And you could make $300 in an afternoon.
Yeah. Do you remember how you rigged that? Like, would they have the material ready for you, or did you take a fucking down payment and you went and got the material?
No, I had it. I wasn't broke in college because
I
used to do pretty good in the summertime, and I would save my money.
But I'm saying that people like hiring people who will get the material, and you know.
Right, I would buy the material.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's real easy.
Me too.
To put one of
I
those
figured
in.
that out early in college too. None of this having the fucking homeowner buy the paint. I'll buy the paint.
Well, because they think you're a fly-by-night shit bum.
And I'm going to give you. I'll give you a.
What do you mean I got to go get the paint?
You got to give me a deposit.
You're not a fucking serious.
You do got to give me a deposit.
I didn't even get deposits.
You know what? I didn't get deposits until. I'm going to say until I had 10 or 11 guys going. I used to not get deposits.
And you know something? I swear in this
and
state,
people like that.
You can only get a third.
That's the law, but most guys get half.
That is the law. But my fucking kitchen guy, man,
still gets half.
He gets half. I don't like this shit.
Floor guys get half too, by the way, and I don't know why that is. I'm not talking about your floor guys. I'm talking about if the homeowner goes, that's half of that fucking floor, man. Justin took nothing.
I don't.
Justin's the best. He did my dad's house for nothing down.
He's got a floor in for me that he hasn't charged me anything.
Now, when he left, this is the pre-finish because we all like the pre-finished over there in Kaposieville because we don't want any fucking dust. You know how like
even too many people in the house.
Well, you know how if you put up those plastic fucking partitions,
dust is everywhere.
The dust gets in your fucking nightstand drawer somehow. You know what I mean? It's just a nightmare. Yeah. Justin is. He wants to get paid the day he's done for one of them, but Dad didn't have to give. Dad was like, all right, can I give you some money? And just was like, nah.
He's had a floor in for me for a month, and he's not looking for any money.
Well, that's because he's busy.
He doesn't care.
He knows where you live. By the way, I like that guy.
He's a great guy.
He's the type of guy I could be friends with, but I just never got. I mean, we're friendly. When we see each other, we hit it off great. I thought it was funny. He used to come down to fucking the bar once in a while when I was bouncing.
Yeah,
he was on the prowl for a little while. I think he's back in the big bed right now.
He literally had.
He's back in the big bed, right?
This is a guy whose his dad was a police officer, and his brother. Oh my God, is now a police officer in Vermont.
Oh no. His brother was a police officer on it. Steve, he was there. He's the one who finished it. He used to finish the floor.
Yeah, he did the sanding and finishing.
I did a fucking anti-police rant one day, and I didn't know that he was a fucking
Well, he
cop.
probably didn't care.
He did. He piped right up.
He probably,
it was tense. And I went, I'm not talking about you. I apologize. But I was talking about him.
So,
because I was talking about all of them.
Justin doesn't like him. He doesn't like the cops either.
Well, I mean, why would you? Cops are cunts.
And
I believe that's what got his brother mad at me.
And he said the exact thing that I was thinking right around 9/11. He's like, what the fuck is this? Why are these firefighters heroes? They fucking did their job.
They signed up for it.
Yeah, you signed. I mean, you work fucking 2 days a week.
If
they make a fortune in New York City, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And
especially the higher ups. I mean, the grunts make 60, 80 grand, but
I
still a good
guarantee you I bet the fucking low man on the totem pole, not the first year guy, but if you've been there for 4 or 5 years, you're over 100 grand.
Wow.
So it's a fucking job, and you sign up for it, and it's nobody left their fucking
law practice to be a fire
practice or their medical degree,
Yeah.
and went and joined the fire department. And it's all nepotism anyway. If you go to, the fire department, not so much today, but 30 years ago, was fucking all Irish.
Although there was an NFL player who left to be a
All
fucking special
Irish.
forces.
So that's your fucking job.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, if they knew the building was going to fall down, they wouldn't be running up the stairs, because would be asking to die.
Right.
So, and they had a horrible communication system, and that's why they were running up in the stairs in the second building, because they didn't know that the first one fucking fell down. So,
how did
this
they not
fucking
know? They
hero
must have
shit
felt
is-
the fucking place shaking. The loud. You
How
could have
would
heard
you
it.
know?
You don't think you could have heard it?
I don't think so.
Really? I don't know.
The whole thing
Having never
was
been,
mayhem.
I was never on that.
Well, obviously, I
Site.
guess not.
Oh, you know what? I was. The year before, I was on that site. I was on that site. Those buildings are fucking pretty close, man.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you must have at least heard it, or you figure you would have felt
They were
that.
very close.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there was a guy that the French dude,
The tightrope walk.
Petite.
Fran Petit Dimanche. I think that was his name, Francois Petit Dimanche.
I don't think it was, but it's funny that the
What?
painter is Fran French.
No, his dad had a French last name, but
Petit Dimanche is a hell of a last name.
it means small appetite in French. But apparently, there's a lot of people with petit or petit for a prequel to their last name in France. Who knew?
Yeah.
He's Irish, and by the way, he's adopted, and he won't mind me telling this, but I always thought he looked like a fucking square-headed Dutchman or like a Portuguese or something, but he swears to God that he's fairly certain that he was, born of Irish people,
Right.
even though he doesn't know.
I believe that too by looking at him. He looks
See, I don't think he looks Irish at all. He looks like a fucking square-headed Dutch person.
well, maybe he is.
Western European cranial anatomy.
Well,
this
what
is
I'm
the
saying
third
is-
time this has come up.
The fire department in Boston and the fire department in New York City was owned by the Irish for a long time.
Oh, yeah, and that's why it's the fucking mess it is.
And the Irish, and I'm Irish I'm culturally Irish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And 1/4 Irish genetically. And believe me, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want a bunch of you.
And I'm not as much of an asshole as these guys
Oh, my
are.
God. The fucking
And
nepotism.
most of the police force, you don't want Irish people being cops.
No.
Ever.
Again.
As I've said, now I
Yeah.
will repeat
Yeah,
again.
go ahead, do it,
the
man.
only people that should
Should
be allowed
cops.
to be cops
Right.
are black people.
I'm with you.
Not any black person.
Joe, you've been fucking talking about this for a year on these broadcasts.
And I know
I
that
can't
people-
say that I disagree.
If you listened, if you listened to the last podcast, you might think I'm a racist. But I bring up these.
Why would you think you were racist after the last podcast?
If you talk about being white in any positive way,
oh, no. Will you stop?
you are by definition. We talked about this.
I mean, if anyone's a
You
racist
can't-
in this room, it's me, and I'm just not.
You can't talk about being white as a good thing without being
Ostracized
called
at the very
you
least.
certainly wouldn't do it in public. And it's, how you got that feeling that you're saying something wrong that you shouldn't be talking about? It's drilled into
You know
us
what?
white folks.
I'm going to do a
that
little.
we're, you don't want to talk about how good you got it.
I'm going to do a
And
little.
hey, it is a lot easier to be white.
I'm going to do a little cultural experiment tomorrow at work. Everyone in my office is white. Some of them are Portuguese, which to me is the same thing as African, but apparently I'm wrong. My wife tells me I'm wrong. But I think if you're a Portuguese, you're North
they
African.
check-
You're North African.
They
That's
check
it.
Caucasian
I know.
on
but
the census, right?
they're light-skinned black people, and that's fine.
No, they're not.
Just look at them. So, fucking,
I've
I'm
worked
gonna
with
walk-
a lot of them. They're not
Yeah,
black at all.
I'm going to walk in. There's 2 other offices with 2 guys in it. And then one of them is on vacation. He's a straight up Portuguese. Anyway, I'm going to walk in and I'm going to go to both their offices, engage their response. I'm going to go,
Do you consider yourself black?
No, I'm going to go, God damn, anyone else proud to be a white man? And they're either going to react with horror or they're going to go, fuck yeah, they're all registered Republicans. They all carry guns. Two of them literally have Make America Great hats. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know why you would be proud to be any color.
But you said you are.
No. See, that gets... If you say, I'm glad I'm white.
That's different. You're right.
Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. But God damn, I'm glad I'm a white man.
And I really am. I'm glad Chris Rock used to do a thing. He said, I'm fucking rich. And there is not one white motherfucker that would trade skin color with me.
Hold on. I'm glad to be a white man. I'm proud to be a white man.
I'm not proud to be a white man. I'm glad I'm a white man.
Well, proud, because
pride means that
but it's also a fucking deadly sin. Happiness isn't.
Pride is one of those things where
God damn, Joe, I'm farting my brains out. I'm sorry.
Pride kind of connotates
That's gonna stink.
That it conjures maybe that you're saying that you're better, even though it's not. I mean, who's proud of?
I don't know, man. I still think
you can't be. Why are you fucking proud?
I'm
just happy that I'm white because being a black person in this country is harder, much harder than being white.
I still think if you walk into a room full of Portuguese and say, I'm proud to be a white man, and then you walk into another room full of similar Portuguese and say, I'm happy to be a white man,
you're going to get the same response?
No, I think the people who, when you say I'm proud to, won't be as upset as the people as I'm happy to be.
Oh, you think it's worse to say I'm just happy to be. I'm glad I'm a white person.
I'm glad I'm a white man. How's this? I'm glad I'm a white man. I'm proud I'm a white man.
It's way worse when you say I'm proud.
I don't know, man.
I'm just glad I'm white because now when I go out to, although here's a funny story.
Yeah. What do you think, Dave? Check in on this one, will you?
I told you this story before, and I'll
tell it again because I got to pee.
All right, I've told it on the online too, on the podcast. My buddy Phil has a good friend who is very dark, almost purple, African American, and my buddy Phil has a condo down in St. Petersburg, and he and his black friend went in the wintertime down to St. Petersburg. And the reason why I'm calling him his black friend
never told this story on the podcast.
Is because I don't remember his name. And they're not I think he's dead.
Oh no.
I think he's dead because he was much older. He was like 20 years older than Phil. Okay. You know what? So he and Phil worked at the power plant together. And that's how Phil knew him.
At the power plant together?
Yeah, because Phil, let me have one of these Diet Cokes and
I remember his name.
Fireball.
I remember his name. His name is, and he died of sickle cell anemia.
It's fucking terrible. See, Al is a racist. So here's the funny thing. The black guy is saying, it's so great to be black. I can go out. I don't need any sunscreen or anything. Well, he spent the day out in the sun, he and Phil. Phil was all lathered up with the sunscreen. They were down there for 4 days. The guy was in the condo for the remaining 3 days, fucking burnt to shit.
Right.
So, black people, just
wear
because
sunscreen.
You're black doesn't mean
they know that
you're going to get burnt just as bad
as
a white guy.
And they're using lotion anyway because they're all ashy.
If you haven't been in the sun.
Why are you so ashy?
That's a Bill Burr thing. He talks about one of his things is, and Bill Burr is married to a black woman, which I think gives him a pass that he's not racist. But he says,
by fucking definition.
He went out with a black girl, and he learned about lotion.
Yeah.
because he didn't know anybody that used,
Lotion.
Because in the wintertime, around here in the cold weather, it gets real dry and you fucking start itching and shit.
Yeah.
And he said, I went on this play, and she said, "You're Ashy." And, she said, "Here, I'll prove it to you." He stuck his arm out, and he said, and she just gently dragged her fingernails down his arm, and like the pieces of skin were falling off. You know what I mean? So
means the house is extra dusty.
Well, no, your skin's coming off.
I'm saying that's what dust is anyway.
Out.
Yeah.
So at any rate, here, I'm going to guzzle this
When you
shot
dust
here.
your house, that's your fucking skin. You know what I mean? People are vile. God is a funny dude, man. He definitely didn't make us in his image. I'll tell you that.
Well,
by the way, notice how I said his. And no, I don't believe in God. But if I do, it's not a woman. All right? I said it.
Why wouldn't you believe in God? It's better.
It's you know why, Joe? Don't you know it's because it's easier? That's why I can't do it. I can do nothing the easy way.
So at any rate, let me finish this story.
Go ahead,
it's pretty
man.
funny.
Yeah.
So Bill's like, "Holy shit." So he got the lotion, and he's never had a problem with being itchy in the winter. And he says, maybe there's cultural things that people just, some cultures know and other cultures don't. And he said, like, black people don't seem to know that registering handguns or their weapons needs to be done.
Right.
So that was his. That was the punchline of the joke, which it's not as funny when I said it, but it was funny when he said it.
Yeah, well, whatever. He's also paid to be funny.
He's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
If you go on, I was just watching these YouTube clips where he's on Conan, and he is so fucking funny. He had one where Conan asked him, Lance Armstrong had just come out, and asked Bill what he thought about, Lance Armstrong, and everybody's fucking pissed at him and mad, and he's like, I don't know why everybody's bad at the guy. He didn't do anything to me.
Right.
And well, I mean, he lied, and he had this, and he's like, well,
yeah,
he our roided up guy
beat their roided
beat their roided up guy.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing it, and and how does it affect my life?
Right. And it wasn't roids, by the way. It was removing your blood
and blood transfusions and shit like that.
Just putting oxygen-enriched blood back into your system. Which, by the way, I'm like, hey, man, if you got the resources to do that.
And Lance was torturing people that would come after.
Well, that's his thing.
Bad.
Yeah. Well, because he was a
very
notorious
rich.
litigator. Yeah.
He was very rich.
And that's what rich people do.
Well, and he had to keep that thing going.
They beat you to death with their lawyers. You know what I mean?
He had to keep that thing going.
The problem is...
But the guy did ride the fucking bike. He won those races.
Yeah, he put the work in, man. And
it's not like you
think he didn't experience
pain?
pain?
Like Rosie Ruiz. Remember Rosie Ruiz?
Of course.
The
fat chick
into the marathon at the 25th fucking mile and won it.
The fat chick who for 20 minutes was the winner of the marathon that year.
Rosie Ruiz, you can look it up, folks.
She had
she won the Boston
28%
Marathon
body fat
by at the 26.2 mile, jumped into the race.
She demolished the record.
And everybody was like, holy shit. And then they figured out a few days later that she had hopped into the fucking race.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a few days. It was literally a half
Lance
hour.
Armstrong rode the fucking bicycle. He rode the bike.
Yeah, no, he did.
I don't think there was a motor in it because that's the new thing.
I know. You brought that up. It's such ridiculousness.
They have a little motor in the hub, and they put the fucking lithium-ion batteries in the frame.
It's such bullshit. It's so easy to find.
Oh, that's what you think.
Yeah.
I just think
stupid.
it's a sport that just begs
for
because
cheating.
they want to win so bad.
Yeah.
And there's a huge payoff when you win, too.
I believe so. Well, because all those teams pay entry fees.
Right. And, your average bicyclist.
And there's television money and all that shit.
If you make it to the NFL, you're going to have money. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get on an NFL team, you're going to get paid some pretty decent money.
Well, I mean, the average guy makes $250,000 a year for 2 years, and then he's not playing pro football.
Okay.
But yeah, you're
What
right.
I'm saying is he's going to make some money. Most bicyclists who race are fucking, nobody's doing it for a living. You have to have another job.
They are now.
Well, sometimes. But nobody's making a really good living at it. Unless you're Lance Armstrong or, somewhere in that top tier. So what I'm getting at is you want to win that fucking Tour de France because that's the most prestigious bike race in the world.
Listen, I follow professional sports, right?
Way more than I do.
So listen, would you believe me if I told you that the same percentage of top, bicyclists make it as much money as the top percentage of tennis players?
Sure.
All right. So it is a good living.
What I'm saying
the
is
top guy makes fucking 20 or 30 mil a year.
What I'm saying,
and then it descends
here's the
rapidly.
point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
You're a professional bicycle rider.
Yeah. Racer.
Yeah. And you're at the low end of the totem pole. You're not making shit.
You're probably making $100,000 a year. If you can
You're
call
not
yourself
making shit.
Yeah.
If
you're
you're
right.
in the NFL and you're the absolute worst player,
You make it $250,000.
that's my point.
Yeah.
I think you're making $25,000 a year if you're lucky as the shit bicycle rider. So, if you can get yourself up a few notches,
I hear you.
even not be the winner,
Right. You want to get in that quick escalation.
it behooves you to go and
fucking just behooves you. I was going to say the same thing.
to fucking drug yourself up and get out there and get that Tour de France. But the fucking guy won 7 of them in a row.
Yeah, like right the fuck in a row, right?
7 in a row after testicular cancer.
And didn't he? Then
All
he
right.
won like 8 out of 9. I don't
And
know.
every other fucking rider that was anywhere close to, that was decent was all fucking roided up.
By the way, not just
Or
whatever the fuck, doped
they
up.
all did
Technically, it's called
EPO.
doped up.
They all did. I don't know whether they all did the
Not
he
only
had the best doping program going.
right, and there's a lot to be said for that. He
So he was really good at riding
Not
the
only
bike.
did he have
and he
to-
knew he found that guy.
well, he
Ferrari.
trained like a lunatic.
Yeah, but the point is, he certainly put the work in.
He was also 100% predisposed. He found his calling.
And I truly believe that Lance Armstrong would have preferred not to dope.
But he had to.
If there was any choice
He wouldn't
in the
have.
matter.
He wouldn't
have doped.
I agree with you.
So why would you?
Yeah, no, he was a
If
product
he was
of...
the only guy doping, that would make him a real fucking asshole.
You're right. He was a product of his environment. He was not the creator of that said
Right.
environment.
So you go to the race, and then these guys are fucking riding their bicycle uphill, and they don't even have their mouth open. And you're going, what the fuck is going on
That
here?
being said, unfortunately,
So
history will not treat Lance Armstrong well. Unfortunately.
Well, it's like-
history will not treat him well. People I don't think common sense like you and I do and think all the way through this. History will not treat him well.
What does it have to do with you anyway? You know
Me
what I mean?
personally, absolutely nothing.
Well, no.
I
When
know
I
what
say
you-
you,
No, I
I
know.
mean the average person. Oh well, he rode for the post office, and that's a government.
Yeah, but
who
that
gives a
was
fuck?
no, but that was even that's
You know
another
what
thing.
Lance Armstrong did, and this
The
is I'm
post office
stealing this
team was
from
half
Bill-
privately funded
Lance Armstrong raised $500 million.
for
For
cancer
cancer.
research. Yeah,
So whether he fucking doped or didn't, he raised, because of him, there's $500 million more going towards cancer research.
he was the guy who came up with the idea, or someone he hired. Someone he hired came up with the idea for the little rubber bracelet.
Yeah.
Everybody wears.
He started that
some sort of-
foundation
and
because I
then
just watched
it got
one of the
ripped off.
documentaries about that again because it's fascinating. I
Yeah.
find it fascinating.
Yeah,
the
it's
whole
wonderful.
story.
It's a wonderful story.
But I'm not mad. The only thing I didn't like was, although there's this woman,
He was kind of a cunt to his
Betsy-
wife, though.
Betsy, he gets along well with all his wives.
I think his first wife.
There was a woman whose husband rode on the team with Lance.
Yeah.
And her name is Betsy, and she's so fucking annoying
Yeah,
that you just hope that she dies.
yeah.
And she was just like this fucking tick that dug in. And I forget the last name of her husband's name was Frankie, and he was riding along with Lance, and he was all doped up. And you had to dope. That was the deal. If you were on the team, you had to dope.
Absolutely.
Because I guess the deal is, you already know when you go out who the fucking top guy is, and you're the supporting members, and you ride and break the wind and, all that shit, and keep other bicyclists away or cyclists away from Lance. But you got to be able to stay up, keep up. And, but this woman is devoid of any responsibility that her husband actually. He had a choice. He could have not taken the fucking.
His name
dope.
was Frankie Andrew, by the way.
It was Frankie and Betsy Andrew.
Yep.
And they're divorced now, and I can understand why.
And you're right. It's Betsy Andrew. And Tyler Hamilton, who, by the way, he was on that team. Guess where he's from? Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Is he really?
Well, he was one of the guys on the team. And there were two brothers.
He was a reluctant witness. He was brought in by either the FBI.
We're talking about Frankie.
No.
Oh, Tyler. Oh yeah, poor guy.
And I mean, he fucking had.
He got caught up in it.
As if you ask Paul Manafort, you can't fucking lie to the FBI. You can't lie to the federal government. The worst thing you can do.
Under oath, you can't.
The worst thing you can do.
You can lie on your tax return.
Let me fucking finish. The worst thing you can do is lie to the federal government. If you want to go, if you want to fuck around with the legal system, keep it in district court.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because you can get a lawyer for a couple $100 an hour and get yourself out of trouble.
And here's the thing.
But if you lie to the federal government, they can subpoena you. You might have to fucking go to Montana for a hearing on your own dime and fly your lawyer out there too.
And for those of you who live in most other places in America, district court is your version of county court.
Yeah, your local
court. Well, district court is still state employees. Where you live, they're not. They're county employees.
County.
District court is those guys get a check from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, not the county of Plymouth. Now they're separated by county.
I think they get a check from the county. District courts are run by the county.
I think all those judges get a fucking check.
It's from
the Commonwealth.
See, I don't know whether it's most places, but in Florida, for example, everything is the county. It's run by the county, not the town.
Here the county's a joke. All they got is a fucking jail. That's it.
In Massachusetts, the sheriff's department and the courts are run by the county.
You cannot get pulled over by a sheriff or a deputy.
Nobody pays any attention to county government, and they all rob the fucking thing blind because nobody is paying attention. Right. And it should be abolished and just absorbed into the state. Because it's a fucking joke.
Or the individual municipalities. That would be nice.
No, you don't want the town of Plymouth running it.
What do you think about the whole... You must like the whole selectman... town meeting version of government we have as opposed to city council mayor.
No.
You think city council mayor would be better for our town?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
At this stage, I think that there are still, like, you can go to Pembroke, all right?
Where we going?
Pembroke still has an open town meeting.
Yep. Oh, yeah, no.
Meaning all you got to do, you can go as a resident of the town and vote.
Carver also, by the way.
Yeah, most of them.
I went to many town meetings when I lived there. About 50 of them.
Our town is so big that we have to have a representative town meeting. And usually half the fucking representatives, because nobody gives a shit,
it's just like a
work for the fucking town.
I know, that's the other thing.
So they're voting themselves pay raises. They're hiring their pals. So what we've done is we've grown into, we're a city now. There's 70,000 people here. It's time for a different form of government.
I don't know if it's 70, but it's getting bigger.
Well, I know it was 60.
Who is
a
the
long time
speaker?
ago.
Who is the speaker? Who's the moderator? Do you know?
I don't know.
Have you been to a town? Oh, why would you go? Because you can't vote anyway. See, I used to go to Carver's town meetings because I could vote.
Right, and
You know
that's
what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying.
Yeah.
If you have an open town meeting, anyone in the town, if you live there, you can vote.
I was also an elected official in the town of Carver.
I think
for a little
once
while.
it becomes a representative town meeting, you're getting away from the overall point of having a town meeting form of government.
I would like to remind the audience that I won an election once. Thank you. 23
You did?
people. Yeah, I was a constable. And I was the voted in constable for Plymouth. It was a rotating thing. There was 3 of them, and one seat came up, and I ran against 2 guys and won.
Could you carry a gun and shoot people?
Well, no, I did have a license to carry a gun, but that was from my I ran for constable to have that credential to be able to tap into the registry for my PI job.
59,303, so 60,000.
Because I had a constable's credential, I could just run anybody's plate that I wanted to.
Oh, did you have a computer in the car or something?
No, all I had I just had to go
You
down.
had access to some...
I just had to go down to the registry with my credential and go, here's a plate, run it. And they would go, okay.
I think you can go to the registry as a citizen and run a plate.
No, you cannot.
Really?
You cannot.
Why not?
They'll look at you and go, the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? You can't do that.
Why couldn't you?
Try it.
I thought that... Say somebody fucking... say you walk into your car in a parking lot and somebody fucking sideswipes it, takes off, and you get the plate number.
You go to the police with
Yeah,
that.
I guess you call the cops.
That's what you
Give
do.
the plate number.
You go to the registry and tell them that, and they go,
Call
you
the
need to go
cops.
file a police report, and that's a local thing, not a state thing. So, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not...
Well,
The whole
why would I
DMV.
make it up? I lived it for
No,
a
no,
little while.
I believe you.
You know what I mean?
I believe you.
Why I ran for
Why
constable.
should I say that?
I kind of told.
You're wrong,
I
yeah.
kind of told the story anyway that I got a couple calls to go arrest a couple people, but in order to arrest someone, the person being arrested needed to live in Plymouth, Carver, and the person filing the capias needed to live in Carver.
Do you know what I found out? You jogged a little memory loose. I had to go and get a rein for my. I yelled at somebody on the phone and hurt their feelings. So I am a being. I was
Tried.
being-
Tried, I
I'm
believe, is
being-
the
well,
fucking
we're not
word.
going- it ain't gonna make it to trial.
I thought you said it was.
No, it'll be settled in a pretrial hearing, which there'll be several. But
What do you have to say? Sorry.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
You're certainly not
But
giving
you
him
can't
any
yell
money.
Yell at somebody on the phone anymore because
It hurts their feelings.
it hurts their feelings, and that's illegal.
But you know that's hurtful, Joe.
But I'm sitting in court, and the amount of people that just don't show up is fucking amazing. Do you know what I mean?
You've talked about this before. Yeah.
I mean, they call the name, the guy's not there, the judge issues a fucking bench warrant for their arrest, and
that's a lot like my
why
next
wouldn't you
court date.
fucking show up?
I won't be showing up at my next court date because it's going to take them a while to find me. You know what I mean?
Why do you? What do you? have
It's
a
just
court-
more debtor shit.
Is somebody suing you civilly or
I
something?
got tracked down by a couple of scumhole fucking debt buying fucking lawyers.
Yeah, you
who
can tell
put-
them to just fuck off.
Well, yeah, no. Well, the last guy, remember I told you? I told him to fucking eat it.
right.
But there's another 2 who found me at 158, and I moved, and I had a court date. I got a court date for September. I'm not showing up. They don't even know I live in Kingston. If they do a little research, maybe they'll figure it out. But I didn't leave any forwarding address. My fucking boss, I haven't even told. I live in. When you look at my check, it still has my Plymouth address on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm trying to avoid not just the fucking debt collectors. I'm avoiding the IRS. I just got to get 8 more months, Joe. That's it. 8 more months.
You really have to stop talking about the
I don't care.
IRS on this show.
I don't care. It's part of my life, and it makes me interesting.
Yeah, but it's
It makes me interesting.
you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Fuck it. What? I mean, you can't get blood from a stone. What are they going to throw me in jail?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Hey, by the way,
Because I will promise to pay them,
so that was
and I will make 2 or 3 payments.
Look, I
and
just
then I
found it
will move to
interesting
Key West.
that the arraignment thing is it's
I'm sorry.
criminal arraignment.
I know.
And
What have you been charged with?
Why you wouldn't show up?
You can say what you've been charged with.
Oh, my charges?
What?
I was charged with threat to commit a crime,
Yeah.
which is bullshit.
Right.
Because
You didn't make a threat.
I never threatened anybody. And what do they call it? Oh, criminal harassment.
Okay.
Because I said some bad things to somebody.
You did harass them. I'm not sure it was criminal.
You know, here's the problem.
Some of the language was
If I had-
salty, though. It was salty language.
If I had made 2 phone calls that were a half an hour long with language that was 10 times worse, there would be no case.
Yeah.
Do you follow me?
The problem is
What makes it a case is that
it was 70 phone calls.
no, it was 4.
Oh, okay.
If it's 3 or more,
Oh, really?
they consider 3 or more calls, even though it was done within like fucking 2 hours of one another.
Oh, boy.
They consider that a pattern of behavior. So if I did it twice,
Now,
then there would be no charge.
now think back to that day, if you will.
Yes.
Are you sure that you took all of your medication that day?
According to how we're going to win this, not at all.
Talk about not playing along.
Well, this is serious. I can't talk about this really on the air if somebody fucking. But
I'm certain. I'm certain you didn't take your medication.
I didn't
that
take
day.
my medication for a week,
Yeah,
and that's
and you got fired up.
week to 10 days, and what happens is you get some mood swings.
Right.
Now, I can't say, and I've said this to the lawyer, I can't say for certain that this medication had anything to do with it, because I wasn't really mad. I was just, I said, being a nice guy, I was trying to get something done with the electric company, and being a nice guy didn't work anymore. I tried for 3 months. I got nowhere. On a Sunday,
It was
I
a social
called
experiment.
a lot of people bad names.
Yeah.
And on Tuesday, I had a meeting, and on Friday, I got what I wanted. That it took me 3 months of, hi, this is Joe Brennan calling
Right.
again. Could you give me some help? Yeah, we'll call you tomorrow. So it worked.
So you elicited the response you were looking for.
I got it done.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's unfortunate that that's
What it takes.
what it takes for the fucking monopoly electric company
Again.
filled with these union scumbags.
Again, monopolies with unions. It's crazy. It's just like public
Now,
employee
there should be
unions. It's the same thing.
monopoly fucking union
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
electric
yeah.
company.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a monopoly.
Right.
So you got these fucking bums in there that
Don't
can
you
never
know
be
that-
fired.
don't you know,
they work
Joe,
2 hours a day.
It's not a
They're
monopoly.
lazy.
Because
They
there
make
are
$60 an hour.
there are at least 25 or 30 other electric companies in this country. It's not a monopoly. The problem is
No, it's a local. It's a monopoly.
I'm playing devil's advocate again. You should have choices, and you do actually.
Well,
you
you
actually
can't-
do have choices.
You can't run 2 sets of fucking poles.
There are choices.
The electric companies in the Commonwealth, which is this electric company, can only they can't charge. They can't be involved in generation. They make their money off distribution.
Mm.
So you can't have 2 sets of fucking poles going down this, or 3,
Right.
So you can go with the A, B, or C delivery company. You have one form of delivery, and that's why it's a monopoly, because you can't.
Well,
there
are companies that rent.
No,
I know what you're saying.
it doesn't work like that. I
my
don't think
God.
you'll find that anywhere in the world where there's like 2 companies running different sets of poles and wires. It's ridiculous. So they have to be. They either have to be They have to be public, in the sense that not a public company, but actually owned by the municipality.
That's why one day, everyone's house will be run on Bluetooth. Of some sort. They'll be like out
the
back
beauty
there.
of this is
out
50.
back there where there's those
I
big.
think 50 years from now, there won't be there'll still be a grid system, but it won't be anywhere near as big.
I agree.
There'll be a lot of houses.
By the way, the infrastructure of that fucking dying and dead thing will still be there, though. That's going to be a whole mini industry, is removing that fucking infrastructure.
You're never going to
Unless they just let it fucking wither. I don't know.
You're never going to run a big industrial whatever factory with solar panels, but you can, sure enough, run a house.
Sure enough.
And when it gets to the point where, the thing is storage, but the electric cars are coming, and the electric cars has such a huge fucking battery that you could plug it into your house and the power goes out and the fucking car battery starts running your house.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Including your fridge and your furnace and everything.
Right. The entire
your dryer,
house.
everything.
Probably for a couple days.
Yeah.
And
where your house
if you're
used
in
to
a
feed that
snowstorm,
battery, now your battery is feeding the house.
And you could get into some sort of deal where, most people are at home with their car at night, which is when the sun's not shining.
Right.
So if you can charge your car, well, I don't know how it would work. Look, because you need your car for the next day. But if it could sort of run off the car a little bit at night, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, one thing we didn't touch upon the other day, and I know I'm going in another direction, but we did none of this. I failed to mention that Cohen actually pleaded guilty to some shit.
Yeah.
And is doing his best to implicate the president.
It's not working.
I know, it's bizarre. I mean, can anyone work Teflon Don into a sentence? You thought that fucking Gotti, what was his name?
John Gotti.
John Gotti was the Teflon Don because nothing stuck. This guy is Teflon Don. He's not the Donald. He's Teflon Don. And here's why. He's the smartest man in show business. All right? And presidency is as much about show business as this is about getting shit done.
It is show business.
This guy was literally born to be president of the United States of America.
Reagan, I don't think Reagan was any brain surgeon. But Reagan had a very clear set of values, whether you agreed with them or not.
Right.
And he was a great
communicator.
He was a great communicator. He could speak to people, and you got it.
And
he was a very optimistic guy, which you need.
Yeah.
You don't want some fucking Jimmy Carter. Unfortunately, he was a very nice man, but things aren't going so good.
I know you like to compare the Donald to him, but let's just put it this way, all right? I thought Reagan was a good president. Listen, when you think of
this guy is very bright.
Listen, when you think of these,
which makes it so funny when these people think
what I'm going to do is list two professions off to you, and tell me which profession does it take a higher IQ to fucking do.
All right, I'm ready.
Is the guy who is a Hollywood actor smarter than a New York real estate developer? Who's smarter?
The New York real estate
fucking
developer.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Now, is he necessarily smarter than the fucking nuclear physicist guy who also was a peanut farmer and became president?
Yeah, but at that
maybe
point,
not.
At that level of, if your IQ is 140 or 130 and the other guy's 180, it doesn't really matter.
Can anyone
actually the guy that has the 180 IQ is he's very smart, but he's probably like sort of socially isolated. Right. That's usually how it ends up.
The great.
Hey, did you hear what Chuck Todd said?
Can I finish this thought?
Go ahead.
The great Dave, my last name. We're not supposed to say last names. By the way, everybody, my name is Al Capozzi, and I live at 43 Main Street in Kingston. That's where I live. That's my name. My brother, Dave Capozzi.
We try to keep the last names out because we figure if this whole...
Once in a while, I got to say it.
If we dump this podcast, like if it goes absolutely nowhere, and we dump it, why have our... Because we know, not that anybody's going to listen to it, but it's on the internet forever. So somebody could, who knows?
My brother, the great Dave Capozzi, who I've just recently discovered that he's the only fucking dude who will answer the phone after 10 o'clock at night in my life. And
Really?
he will answer it every night. And here's why. It's 9 o'clock in Nashville. It's not 10.
That's right.
Nashville is about as far east in that time zone as you can get. So it's, you know what I mean? So anyway, the great Dave Capozzi, who I believe, Joe, will be guest shotting here September 30th, the day after my wedding reception. I believe he's coming up, and I enticed him into fucking coming by telling him that he and I will do a podcast that Sunday, the day after my wedding reception.
Fuck yeah.
And even if you fucking bail, he's going to be on a 4-hour podcast because he's ready.
Okay.
All right. So anyway.
No, I think it would be a blast.
How fucking great would that be? I want to set up a podcast at the thing, but my band's playing and that won't go.
Dave's got a big brain.
Yeah. So Dave, the great.
How come we haven't had Paul over here yet?
Because
I try. Oh, by the way, I tried to get
Paul's
Alan tonight. I pinned him down.
I've tried to get Paul here.
He won't do it.
You know, I
thinks I'm going to make fun of him.
I haven't put that much effort into putting Paul because I don't. Paul would be great.
He would be great.
I'm sure he'd be just like my dad. So anyway, the great Dave Capozzi, great thinker. He goes, Al, we're all Trump guys, but don't you know, Ross Perot would have been a great president of the United States. And he's probably right. Any guy who wants to run that fucking thing like a business, like Donald is doing, and also having a big enough brain to take into fucking account all the bureaucracy and all the bullshit. He sees through everything. He knows what he's got to cut through. I bet you Ross Perot. I wasn't a big Ross Perot guy. I wouldn't have voted for him. I was fascinated by him. I didn't hate him.
I voted for him twice.
Yeah, well, there you go. He would have been a great president, according to my brother. That's
hindsight,
that's great analysis.
Here's the thing that makes Trump great.
Yeah.
Trump isn't a conservative.
No.
He's not a...
No.
He doesn't fucking care.
No.
He's not an ideologue.
He's a businessman.
And whatever it will take to get people together to vote on shit that he wants, or that he'd like to see get done.
He will say or do
anything.
Anything.
And of course.
And maybe not do, but he will say anything. That's what's great about Don. He will say anything, not do.
Speaking of saying anything, Chuck Todd, who is the host of Meet the Press, that used to be run by the absolutely great Tim Russert, who you could not guess what camp Tim Russert was in.
He was a fucking commie, though.
His questions were so fair.
Yeah, he was equally dismissive of zealots from both sides. Can
Absolutely.
we put it that way?
Chuck Todd.
Equally dismissive of fucking zealots on both sides.
A fucking AKA Sleepy Eyes.
Right.
Came out and said...
Droopy. What's up, Droopy?
Well, Trump's name for him is Sleepy Eyes.
Gotta love it. Everyone needs a nickname, Joe.
Chuck Todd said, quote, a functional Washington would be looking for ways to draw up articles of impeachment papers on Donald Trump. Now, there's an unbiased guy.
Yeah, right. That's fucking journalism at its very best.
That's right. That's right.
That's Chuck. Right up the middle.
Because there's such huge evidence that he's committed a horrible crime.
Right. You know what he was guilty of, Joe?
Chuck Todd
guilty of
fucking killed.
He was guilty of
beating Hillary Clinton,
getting more electoral votes than Hillary Clinton. That's what he's guilty of.
I mean, these people are just out of their minds.
They're fucking out of their tits. And the funny thing is all this Manafort shit, all this Cohen shit, doesn't mean shit.
It doesn't.
Because he is Teflon Don.
Hey, I was watching Jim Norton and another guy whose name I forget.
The great Jim Norton, by the way.
Yeah. Jim's a funny guy. He's a little fucking twisted, but he's funny.
Yeah, well, whatever. You got to be twisted.
Again, who else?
Look what he does for a living.
But he has a podcast with another dude, and they had Roger Stone on this morning. Roger Stone had said that he's a freak. this morning because Roger Stone is a freak, but very bright guy.
Bring me back up to speed on Roger Stone, please.
Roger Stone is the guy that has a tattoo of Nixon on his back.
Like bigger than life size.
Roger Stone has been a political behind the scenes player for a long time, since the Nixon administration, and he hasn't been subpoenaed yet, but they're thinking that they're going to drag him into this because he worked for Trump in the very beginning, and Paul Manafort was a friend of his, and but there's a Netflix documentary called Get Me Roger Stone or something like that you should watch, and that'll bring you up to speed on old Roger.
Okay.
And you'll see him, and he's a freak, but he used to do all kinds of swinging and shit when he was younger. But he's very bright, and he's got a great intuition into all this shit, and he is 100% sure that this whole thing is going to amount to nothing.
Yeah.
Except they're going to put a few people in jail for things that had nothing to do with the election.
And I'll tell you right now, what else it will have no bearing on is the midterm elections.
He also said
that fucking news is not resonating with.
This is why I brought it up. I just remembered.
Yeah.
Because you talked about Cohen.
Yeah.
There is nothing that Cohen has that is of any value.
Right.
And that was Roger Stone today. And he's got Lanny Davis as a lawyer. Lanny Davis is not a litigator. He's a talking head.
Right.
And Roger Stone's view of this is that which you can find, the polls are now, it was before the polls were, for Mueller. Now the polls people are getting tired of this.
Right.
And the polls are now slipping, going, people want this fucking over with. And it's starting to go up. Like it's hitting 55, 56,
right.
57% of the population wants this fucking investigation over with.
Can you imagine the fucking hysteria?
Well, no. Here's what's happening.
After this election, when
just today, Nancy Pelosi said, we shouldn't be talking about Donald Trump at all. We should be talking about our issues. Because she's not dumb.
Right.
She's seeing that the fucking polls.
Well, she's a politician.
Yeah. They're starting to see that these people are, all right, it's been 2 fucking years. There isn't any collusion.
Right.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's time for it to go away.
This guy's going to do his 6 years.
So I believe you're going to see this thing go away, in the next couple months. Like by Christmas, I believe this will be all done.
Oh, man, I hope so. Will he fire the guy before Christmas, or will the guy resign?
I don't think he's going to.
That guy's going to be.
I can't imagine
have
he's
a job
fire.
until that guy will have a job until fucking January fucking 20th fucking 2021. I mean, I'm sorry, 2025.
No, well, they're going to. Something is going to
Mueller
happen.
is going to, if he doesn't die, he's going to be the special prosecutor.
Something is going to happen.
He'll be like Ken Starr light.
See, I don't understand why Trump hasn't fired that fucking cunt.
Jeff Sessions?
No.
He almost got fired today, by the way.
Rosenstein.
Oh, the guy under Jeff Sessions.
Yeah.
They're both going to get fired.
This guy is a fucking smirky, cocksucking
I mean,
cunt.
what the fuck?
And I'm telling you, he...
Talk about not towing the company line.
Well, it's not. Look, you're the Attorney General of the United States. You're not supposed to toe the company line.
Yeah,
you're
you
supposed
are.
to find the justice. But no, you're supposed
He's
to.
not a Supreme Court judge, by the way. He's a cop. He's a cop. He's
you're
a cop.
supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to not.
Yeah, cops aren't
not
neutral.
be covering up bad behavior of the president.
Yeah, well,
but this fucking Rosenstein.
unless it's the president we like.
Unless I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Unless I've got this wrong. And I've read about it several times, Rosenstein drew up the reasons why Comey should be fired.
Oh, yeah.
And then Trump fired him, and then Rosenstein
Said
hired
you should
the
have
special
fired
prosecutor.
him. Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. So why this guy is still there, I have no idea, because Trump can fire him. So there's got to be a reason.
So it's amazing how many topics here on Show 71 that we actually talked about on Show 70. Because on Show 70, we talked about Manafort and Cohen, but it had just broke literally that afternoon. Literally that afternoon.
And out of the show, we haven't talked that much about
And then we talked about Evan's job search earlier, and we talked about it then, too. We also talked about skin cancer then, and we talked about skin cancer tonight. We didn't talk about my work, and that's fine. But in Show 70, we also talked about Cunt of the Week, Larry Holland, which, by the way, that's all calmed all the way down. Thank you. I don't know if you remember any of that.
Larry Holland? Who's that?
The ex-boyfriend in jail fucking till 2032. You don't remember any of that? Were you drunk the other night?
I don't think so.
Oh, my God.
I was tired. I was a little tired.
Oh, my God. So clearly you haven't listened to Show 70. That's
No,
fine.
I have not.
We talked a little bit about Charlena going back to college. This will be her last year.
I remember that.
And I continue to brag on Charlena because she will, in 4 years, regular 8 semesters, plus, in between, she's going to be graduating with a BA in business with an focus on accounting and an MBA. My daughter in May.
Oh, I did talk about...
She's amazing. Charlena, you're amazing.
This guy named Jared Taylor.
Yeah, and that was the last... Oh, no, we talked about Wedding Bell Blues and Jared Taylor.
Now, Jared Taylor is responsible for a magazine that it only goes to 2012 called American Renaissance, which is listed in Wikipedia as a white supremacist online publication. So Jared Taylor may not be... I thought Jared Taylor, if you can get away from beating yourself up for being white, made a lot of sense to what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't saying that, whites were better than black people. He basically was saying, why are we ignoring the fact that people of
people of similar ethnicities like to hang out
with
together.
One another.
Yeah.
Yes.
They like to be with their own
You're
type.
going to find more black people hanging out with black people than hanging out with white people.
And the same thing with baboons, by the way. There's like 4 or 5 different types of baboons.
You shouldn't say baboon.
I was talking about white people. No, I was talking about white people.
No,
white
'cause I
people
know
are
what you're trying
baboons.
to
You
do.
and I are baboons.
You're trying to make...
No, I'm not. You and I are baboons.
Al
Shut
is
up.
not saying...
Yes, you're way too fucking quick, Joe.
He's not saying...
I literally
that
wasn't
baboons,
talking about...
He's not being a racist. He's doing a
It's
comparison.
literally what I was talking about.
Well,
There's 4 or 5...
it was too quick.
Can I fucking finish my fucking thought? 4 or 5 fucking different types of baboons, and it's demonstrated that they like to keep to their own type of baboons. There's not a lot of fucking yellow baboons living with the fucking brown baboons, and there's not a lot of brown baboons living with the black baboons.
You shouldn't bring up
just the way
baboons
it is.
Right after the words come out of my mouth that black people
by the way,
like to hang out with black people, and baboons like to hang out with each other too.
Not only am I insulted, Joe. Not only am I insulted, quite frankly, I'm hurt.
Are you hurt?
I'm a little hurt.
Well,
I was just baboons didn't come to mind because of anything. It came to mind because they're simians. You and I are simians. On a daily basis, I feel simian. Simians are apes and humans. You're a simian, by the way. If you didn't see fucking Battle of the Planet of the Apes, all that shit.
Well, I don't think
people think that simians are just the great apes. It's not. We are a great ape as well. Simians are gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, not baboons.
Baboons aren't.
Chimps, gorillas, orangutans, and humans. We're all simians.
We are
simians.
descendants of chimps.
We're not descendants of chimps. We had a similar fucking... we all came out of the same thing.
We broke off from the chimps.
The same thing.
Not the gorillas.
Again, you're just so far off.
I'm telling you.
No. You're wrong. Your anthropology
I might have it wrong.
Yeah, I did a lot of anthropology. I could have almost had an anthropology minor as well as a history minor, by the way. I took a lot of anthropology. Anyway, everybody, my name is Al Capozzi. I live at 43 Main Street, apartment 2 in Kingston, Massachusetts. My phone number is 508-380-7816. I do a podcast called Kinda Right with the best friend a fucking guy could ever have, Joe.
Hey, Laura Valdez, I'll be more than glad to present your track, Abortion and People Who Should Be Killed, to our SoundCloud Huge Accounts Network.
Right.
As a rule, a track gains the following activity: 220 engaged followers. I don't know what any of that means.
Right.
Sounds like like they're not really interested in our show. They just, I don't know what it is. Do you know what it is, Al?
I'm not even paying attention to you because I'm trying to wrap this fucking thing
All right,
up.
wrap this thing up.
Anyway, you know who I am. You know where I live, okay? And you know who I'm talking to. You can't.
Hey, now.
All right? Kinda right at yahoo.com. Kinda right at yahoo.com. I mean, yeah, I get 20 or 30 emails a day, but I want more. All right? You assholes. Come on. Email me.
Hey, now.
And you know I email you back. I answer every email. Okay?
That'll end soon.
Joe?
Have a good night.
Do I
buddy.
need to go upstairs and ask your wife if you guys are coming to my wedding party?
No, we're
Because
coming.
you've been fucking vague about it. You're coming?
No, we're coming. 29th.
Can I tell you, seriously,
5 to 10.
that the music is going to be amazing?
Okay,
Wait
good.
till you see Scott, Jesse, and my son on stage together. Of course, I'll be there backing them up, but I'm just the drummer. The star of the show is Scott. The next star is Evan. And then our friend Dave is the best player out of the four of us. If you are a fan of guitar work and tasty, tight soloing,
I'm coming to this.
and if
I've
you
already
like
told
Peter Frampton, I gotta text you the set list, although you're not as big a music guy as a lot of guys.
I haven't listened to music in a long time.
Here's the
I
thing.
feel guilty about it, too. I love music, but I don't
Everybody out there, listen to music,
Might be
and
part of getting
whatever it is, just love it. And I'm not even, you know what?
know. Music is great.
Music's great. I love all kinds of music. I love everything. Again, God damn it. My name is Al. His name is Joe. I can't believe it's the
We're
weekend
kind of
already.
right. This is show 71, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye, Joe.